Get ready for Crossfire.
Hey, Bastish B out for 64K with another video special. This one taking a look at a new remake of a classic 1989 Rainbow Art shoot 'em up called X-Out. And today I'll be joined by Simon Krenkel, product marketing manager for the game, and I'll let him introduce himself.
First of all, thank you for the interest in our title again. My name is Simon Krenkel. I'm the product marketing manager for X-Out Resurfaced.
And before we go any further, let's take a brief little history lesson on the original game. X-Out was originally released in 1989 by Rainbow Arts across multiple systems, with the 8-bit C64 version released first, and the version I know and played so much back in the day, with other variations both 8 and 16 bits hitting in early 1990, including Spectrum, CPC, Atari ST and Amiga releases. It was a typical horizontal scrolling shoot 'em up that was set underwater as opposed to the usual space settings, as you pilot a specialized mini submarine and have to stop an underwater alien invasion of Earth. It featured 8 levels overall of shooter action, big boss encounters, shops to upgrade and customize your submarine with multiple ships to pilot, tons of variety in the enemies and level design, and a brilliant soundtrack by Chris Hulsbeck for the Amiga version, which was the icing on the cake. It was an impressive shooter with great graphics, which felt original as opposed to the usual recycled space assets, although it is rumored to have been reused from a disbanded arcade game that Rainbow Arts tried to get released. Soundtracks on the C64 and Amiga versions are real top-tier, high-quality stuff, and the ship customization options were extremely diverse, giving each playthrough and modification of your ship a new look and feel. The game was praised at the time. All versions received very good reviews, with the Amiga and the C64 version getting most of the attention. A sequel was released in late 1990, early 91 for 16-bit systems only, the Atari ST and Amiga, called Z-Out. It wasn't quite as well received, but still boasted some pretty good scores in the reviews at the time, and if you're a huge fan of X-Out, it's still totally worth having a look. And now with the history done, let's meet the new game. X-Out Resurfaced is a modern remake of Rainbow Arts' developed horizontal shooter, and is a collaboration between Ziggurat, Inin, and the German developer Crystalcrax 3000, who've been around since the mid-90s developing games, with one of their more recent releases being the Rainbow Cotton port to all modern systems and published through Inin themselves. X-Out Resurfaced is not a generic remake, but a very clever hybrid game, taking the actual Amiga version's pixel graphics and enhancing them subtly, giving the whole game a fresh coat of paint in terms of visuals, audio, and gameplay tweaks. It doesn't completely discard the original, but really incorporates its assets into a new game, and I love the whole look, style, and idea of this. I first asked Simon what it was about X-Out that made them want to bring it back to modern audiences.
We at Inen, we strive to bring gems of the past back and trying to conserve them for present and future generations. Spark some nostalgia in the guys who played them back then. Many of our guys think back fondly of the home computer days and dearly miss games like this. Yeah, when we got the chance to add X-Out to our catalog, it was basically a no-brainer.
When you first boot up the game, you'll be greeted with a fake crack-styled intro. If you played Commodore 64 or Amiga games in the 80s or 90s, or were from Europe, you'll know exactly what this means. For everyone else, it's an homage to bootleg games, where they have been copied and hacked to allow cheats to be implemented. This is basically where all the unlocked features will be once you accomplish certain things in the game, and is a great throwback to gaming's Wild West era. The game itself recreates the Amiga version in all its shoot-'em-up glory, with all 8 levels intact, with new features including the option to choose 3 default ships, with weapon layouts if you want to jump quickly into the action, or proceed to the shop, where the game's excellent ship and weapons customization takes place, and is one of its best assets. The diversity of your ship layout is what really makes the game so unique. They've also added description to each weapon now, which makes it so much easier to know actually what you're equipping, and is a nice simple touch. The shoot-'em-up action is just as fun as intense as in the original versions, with mid and huge final bosses in each stage. Depending on your weapon sets though, the levels will be vastly different experiences. The viewpoint of the game is a bit more zoomed in like the Amiga version, and not quite as pulled out as the C64 one, but with the widescreen aspect ratio, it now gives you ample space to move around, and it feels like a great combination of both. I then asked Simon what improvements the team had made over the original game.
First of all, we remastered the sound and look of the game. We contacted Chris again to remaster the whole soundtrack. Of course, we did some upscaling, we added some lighting particles, some particle effects. We added some little animations where enemies crash and burn and sink once they get shut down instead of just exploding. And of course, the underwater design with some bubbles here and there. And then we addressed the shop system, which we found were at times somewhat confusing. So we added some description to the items, as well as marked the slots where you can equip them. And we added the co-op and the mirror mode, where you can play the stages from right to left, basically, to just add a little bit more to the game, add a little bit replayability in the end.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Bash Tishby presents.
A bunch of great modes have also been added, as mentioned, that weren't in the original game. Most notably now is the 2-player co-op mode, which is an excellent addition, giving the game almost a bullet hell vibe, as well as an unlockable mirror mode, which flips the whole game from right to left, giving the game a completely new feel and is a fun, simple addition. I also asked Simon what the games of Rainbow Arts meant to him and the programming crew.
Rainbow Arts stands, to me at least, for quality shoot-em-ups and run-and-gun games. Those games really sparked my interest. I myself am a little too young, so I sadly missed their real days of glory of the home computer era itself. But I got to play some of their titles on emulator and port, and I am really impressed by Rainbow Arts' creativity when it comes to world design and mechanics. For example, if you take the Dana Sisters, all the enemy types and stages they put in, it looks really creative. Of course, it's influenced by multiple other titles of this era, but they always manage to put their own little spin to it, like Crossout as well. And of course, there's their continuous work with Chris Hülsbeck, and we all love and adore his skills of synth beats, and we always are happy to work with them. So I'm quite happy to get to be part of their revival, hopefully their new age of Rainbow Arts titles.
The graphics, as I mentioned earlier, are a brilliant mix of the original Amiga pixel art combined with new particle lighting effects and doses of subtle parallax scrolling in the backgrounds. It gives the game this dreamlike look, and as subtle as it is, it looks really pretty damn awesome. The shop has also been revamped and is much easier to navigate, plus the descriptions make it so much easier to understand your weapon layouts. I asked Simon how long the development cycle has been for this game overall.
We spent roughly 9 months on the development. It's hard to say any definite number because we had some delays and hiccups here and there, but overall that's the rough timeline.
Sound is a massive plus for this game. The sound effects are just excellent and take the best of the Amiga and boost it, making every weapon and explosion so satisfying. I love the fact that there are multiple soundtracks to choose from, bringing in the excellent SID C64 tunes, plus the more synth-heavy Amiga versions, and Chris Hülsbeck is back. And he did new remasters of his classic tracks, so you can choose any of these for the gameplay, which is a very neat addition. I also asked Simon whether there would actually be physical copies of this game as well.
We will indeed produce a physical edition for Crossout Resurfaced, and I think as of now you can already pre-order the special edition packed with an art book, including some interviews with the original devs and the devs of the remake, Crystal Grutz, as well as Chris Hülsbeck, of course. And we also included the original game soundtrack in physical with Hülsbeck's fantastic remaster. You can pre-order it now exclusively on inengames.com.
Overall, Crossout Resurfaced is an awesome homage to the original version, as well as a super cool new indie-styled shoot-'em-up. I think it works well as both, which is not an easy thing to accomplish. And I'll let Simon give his final words on the project.
We are looking forward to the game's launch on the 20th of February. We are pretty excited to bring the game to you. Thank you for once more for the chance to be in this interview. Thank you very much.
And that's my look at Crossout Resurfaced. Just remember all the links to the game on the video description. Thanks for joining me, Bastish B at 64K. I hope you had a good time. And if you can please like and subscribe, they'll be greatly appreciated. And I'll see you next time. Cheers.